Well, the Democratic Alliance has asked the public protector to investigate Nene for ethics violations. This is in regard to reports that his son was involved in a deal with the Public Investment Corporation when Nene was its chairman. Let's explore this further now. We're joined by Professor Deon Rossouw. He is the CEO of the Ethics Institute, and he joins us via Skype. Prof, thank you very much for your time. I want to start here. How should the country view the resignation of former Minister Nhlanhla Nene?
Good morning. I think we should regard it as an honourable thing that he did. Obviously, he misled the public on his meetings with the Guptas, and given that he has broken that relationship of trust and that he has been less than honest, I think it was the honourable thing for him to step aside and say, given what I've done, I don't think I can continue in this position. And I think especially at the time where we currently are, where we really need confidence in our economy, it is vitally important that we have a Minister of Finance with high credibility.
How much pressure does his example then place on his now former colleagues who still remain in that cabinet of President Cyril Ramaphosa?
It's a very important point, because what happened here in the case of former Minister Nene is that he volunteered his resignation. While we know that there are members of cabinets who have been convicted in courts of being reckless, grossly negligent, and who have been found to be lying under oath. And it seems that they are just sitting back and don't do the honourable thing to come forward and say, I have also done wrong, here's my resignation. So it seems that President Ramaphosa is only reacting to those who offer their resignation, to admit to their wrongdoing, but those others who are clearly implicated is getting away with it. And that obviously cast a very dark shadow over the clean government that President Ramaphosa wants to advance.
Let's look at this broadly and say, in the country that is riddled by news of corruption every second day, talk to me about an example of this kind where a minister is forced to resign simply on the basis of lying, not corruption just yet, because nothing had been found in as far as that's concerned. What does this do for the psyche of the nation?
Well, it obviously leads to a very deep mistrust on whether we can believe these people, whether they are honourable, whether they are serving in the best interest of the country. We had previous examples. I think you will recall Dr. Paulo Jordan, when he was found out for dishonesty in terms of his qualifications, but he also did the same, that he did not only offer to resign, but he resigned and he sort of disappeared from the political scene. So it's not the first time that this has happened, but in a society where honor matters and personal integrity and personal dignity matters, I think this is the type of thing that we should see more.
Just finally, Prof, the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, what should he be doing or saying? I found it interesting in his statement yesterday when he was announcing this resignation of his finance minister, saying that it is characteristic of Nhlanhla Nene as a man who's honourable. I'm paraphrasing now. What exactly is he trying to say indirectly to those that perhaps he might be forced to let go of in future?
I think what he is signaling is that there's no such person as a perfect ethical person, a person with no ethical failures. But we do know that there are people of integrity, in other words, who tend to act ethically most of the time and who has a reputation for that. And then there are other people who don't have that reputation. And I think what is important is that we should recognize that someone like Minister Nene did South Africa a big favor at a certain point. But at this point, his integrity is tainted. And it's now that long and difficult struggle to retain and to regain that trust in him and to regain his ethical reputation. And I think there are a number of people in the cabinet who are faced with similar situations. And I think up till now, President Ramaphosa has been too reactive and not proactive enough. And if he really wants to send out the signal of a clean government, he sent out lots of signals about fighting corruption, appointing the Zondo Commission, and so forth. But there's this glaring discrepancy of people in his cabinet who was clearly involved in corrupt and unethical practices. And he should be seen to also at least say something and at least announce an intention to act against them as well.
Thank you very much for your time, Professor Deon Rossouw. He is the CEO of the Ethics Institute. All right.